Well, here we are, in the final video of this Sword and Shield series. Regardless of which side of the fence you're on, you have to accept that how we act is perceived by the world implies what our community appears to be. Some of us are hyper-competitive and want to show we're the best, and others are casuals who simply play for the story or for the fun. So, despite how the whole BringBackNationalDex movement has been handled, everything that I've talked about until now, from the discussing of Gamefreak's points as to why they can't include all the Pokemon now, to pointing out the flaws, to talking about balance issues, and even talking about the bad eggs of our community, everything has enlightened me to much about our community as a whole. We aren't as black and white as some people believe, and we don't have to fall into one camp and stay there to be a part of this community.
Wake up now and see the truth. I'm here to show the world to you. I'm going to make you realize. So open your eyes.
Before I begin, if you haven't seen the previous 4 videos of this series, go watch them because they all build into this video and explain things that I don't mention by name or detail. I'll leave links in the description down below. I used to hate what Gamefreak was doing, demanding that they include all Pokemon or show us real progress on those high quality animations that they promised, when the only high quality of Sword and Shield were just the graphical details and effects, not the animations themselves. I also used to hate hacking in all forms, especially when it came to battling in Pokemon, thinking it truly gave an unfair advantage to my opponent. I also used to hate how the community was trying to force balance into Pokemon that wasn't through the official rules set upon me. Finally, I also used to listen deeply to what one member of the community said that I didn't pay attention to what others around me said, until I finally began to listen and think for myself, think about their opinions and how they mattered as well as my own. What this has all taught me is that our community is complicated, and it's no different than other communities, and we have to accept that. We are no more or less special, toxic, beautiful, or crazy than any other gaming community out there. When we first reacted to the news that Game Freak would not be including all Pokemon in the first mainline console game, and that all future mainline Pokemon games would probably receive the same treatment, we reacted as a community should. Some outraged more than others, but we still reacted. If we take any other game out there, talk about an issue that raised controversy, and see how the fans of that game reacted, we'd see similar reactions. When a game that's sold full price goes free to play, those who paid for the game often yell because they had to buy the game the day or a week before it went free, while the person who waited because they lacked the funds to do so got the game without paying a penny. Whatever makes one person happy will, no doubt, make another mad. But now that I've had time to think, time to examine everything, time to understand everything that has happened because of this, all I can say is I accept everything. Pokemon is portrayed as a kid's game, and it is aimed at kids. It has already been aimed to be as kid-friendly as possible, and yet it also covers some adult-related topics and includes things that are clearly not meant for children. This makes Pokemon walk a very fine line between being only for kids and being meant for adults. So when a community like ours becomes outraged about anything, it instantly becomes noticed. Hacking in Pokemon is wrong, but in all honesty, it does not affect people as negatively as people tend to believe. Unless you're hyper-competitive, someone challenging you with hacked Pokemon, unless they are blatantly hacked, still fight the same as anyone else. They honestly do not affect normal players outside of the very, very small ring of elite players. Balance is also something hard to achieve in any game. Pokemon is extremely hard to balance, and anyone attempting to balance it will soon find themselves having difficulty, because changing any one Pokemon in an attempt to balance them will affect those they didn't even consider to begin with. Listening to the words of one without considering the opinions of others also affects us greatly. If one only talks within their small bubble without attempting to reach out, accept words, discuss anything that contradicts what we say, we will quickly be viewed as arrogant and isolated. And our voice within this bubble will also sound just as arrogant and spiteful as we accuse others of being. Our community contains those who are competitive, those who are casuals, those who don't play seriously, and those who love Pokemon simply for being Pokemon. Many of us have grown up with the franchise since our young days as children. I myself having played since my Red and Blue days during the very early years. And as a community, we have to accept that about ourselves. We are not just children anymore. We are not a small group. We are everywhere, and we include everyone now. We are a community of individuals. We all play our own way. Some play similar to others. But even as close as we are, we can still be different enough to be as unique to each other. We all travel the same route. Some take different roads, but in the end, we're all Pokemon fans. So I say in my final words for this series, we as a community are a community. And I love this community no matter what may come of it.